Hello guys, now this is the time to change into Android Studio. This is because Android Studio is now not in beta version. Google releases a stable version of Android Studio. So in this video I am going to show you how to download and install Android Studio with Android SDK. So the first thing, you have to download JDK. So if you already have Java installed in your computer, then you can skip the first step. So in first step I'm going to download and install JDK. So for downloading JDK, open your browser and type JDK download. Go to the first link. Click this link with some Java label. Click this link. Okay, before going to download, you have to accept some license agreement. So accept the license agreement. And here now you have to select the proper version of JDK for your computer. So here I use a Windows 7 64-bit. So I have to download the 64-bit version of JDK. Here you can see that Windows into 64 means this JDK is corresponding to 64-bit version of Windows. If you have a 32-bit operating system, then you have to download the 32-bit version of JDK. Here the 32-bit version of JDK, it is labeled as Windows into 86. This is the 32-bit version. So here I use a 64-bit version. So I click this link. Okay, here my download is started. Okay, now we successfully download JDK. Now we have to download Android Studio. So open your browser again and type Android Studio download. Go to the first link. From this official website you can download the suitable version of Android Studio. So click this. You can download Android Studio from this direct link. Click this link. Here also you have to accept some terms and conditions. So read all this and accept the terms and conditions and click this button, download Android Studio for Windows. Okay, here my download started. It is about 800 MB of size. Okay, now we successfully downloaded Android Studio and JDK. Now the first thing, you have to install JDK. Before going to install Android Studio, you have to install JDK first. So here I am going to install JDK. So double click the installer icon of JDK. Click next. JDK is installed in this path. In C drive program files there is a folder called Java, and inside that folder there is a folder called JDK, and click next. Now the installation is started. Okay, now the JDK installation finishes. Now click close. Okay, now we complete the first step. We successfully install JDK. Now comes to the second step. This is very important. The second step is very important for working with Android Studio. You have to set the variable path, the Java home variable path for JDK. So for setting the Java variable path, open your computer and go to your Windows directory. By default it is on C drive. Go to the program files. After installing Java, there you can see a folder called Java. Open that folder. In that folder you can see two types of folder. First one, JDK and JRE. JRE is Java runtime environment and JDK is the Java compiler. Okay, so open JDK. This one, open JDK and copy this address from the address bar. Copy this one. Now right click your My Computer icon and select Properties. Now go to Advanced System Settings. Now here you got another window, and in that window, at the bottom of that window, you can see a button called Environment Variables. Select that one. Here click the New button, and for variable path type Java underscore home. Okay, you have to type the exact Java in capital letter, then put a underscore symbol and home, and paste the address here and click OK. Now click OK. Now exit all the windows. Okay, now we successfully installed JDK, and now we successfully set the Java home variable path. Okay, now we have to install Android Studio. So here I'm going to install Android Studio. So double click the Android Studio installer icon. Now click Next, and here we are going to install Android Studio, Android SDK and Android Virtual Device. There is no need to install the Android SDK and Android Virtual Device in separate installation. You can install the Android Studio, Android SDK and Android Virtual Device by using a single setup, and click Next. Now here agree the license agreements, and this is the location. The first one is the Android Studio location. It is installed in C drive program files. There is a folder called Android, and inside there is a folder called Android Studio. And this one is the Android SDK location. So we have to change that one. So in my C drive, here I am going to create a new folder. So I just create a folder here and type it and name it as new Android SDK. Okay, yeah, there is already a folder with that name. Rename it Android, Android new SDK. Okay, now browse for that folder. It is in C drive. Yeah, this one, Android new SDK, and click OK. Now click Next. Now click Install. Now the installation is started. Okay, now the installation is completed successfully, and click Next. Now we can start Android Studio by click Finish. Now here Android Studio is starting. At beginning it will take some times because it is needed to extract all the Android SDK folders. So at the first time you have to, if you already have some Android Studio version, you can import the settings from the previous version to this one. So if you do not have any previous version of Android Studio, just tick the second version. I do not have a previous version of Android Studio, and click OK. Now it is starting. Android Studio is now starting. At first time it takes some times. It takes some time, and you have to wait. This is only happens at the beginning. This delay is only happens at the first time starting. Okay, now it download the needed SDK components. There is no need to download the SDK separately. You can complete the SDK installation from the same setup. So now this is now the Android Studio download the needed SDK platform tools. So you have to wait a little bit time because it will take some times. Okay, now let's create some Android virtual device. And now it's finished all the installation. Now we successfully install Android Studio, Android SDK, and it creates some Android virtual device. And click finish. Okay, at the beginning, when you start Android Studio for first time, a window like this will appear. So you have to start a new project from here. You can start a new project from here, or you can import an existing Android Studio from here. Okay, so for entering into Android Studio, you have to create a new project here. So click this, start a new Android Studio project. So now here you have to specify your project name. So I name the project as first app and specify the package name. Okay, and here is the project location. There is no workspace in Android Studio. You can just you have only the project location. There is no workspace in Android Studio. And click next. Now you have to specify what is the project type. If you create Android application for phone and tablet, you can select the first version. If you create an Android app for TV, then you have to select the second one. If you want to create Android application for VR devices, you can select the VR. So here I select the phone and tablet option, and now here you have to specify the minimum required SDK. I select the Honeycomb and click next. From this window you have to select your activity. I select the blank activity. Here other options like blank activity with the fragments, a full screen activity, Google Map activity. Okay, a lot of other options are available. So I select the blank activity option and click next. Now here the activity name and layout name, also the project title and the menu resource name. Okay, I'm not change anything and finish. For the first time it will take some time to load the project and Android Studio, so wait some time. Okay, now the Android Studio is open up. You can see a tip window here. You will get a number of tips, and I close that one. Okay, now the project is launched in Android Studio. So it is much same as Eclipse with some changes. Here is the project structure, a separate folder for the manifest file. Here is a Java folder that contains 2 packages, and here is the drawable folder. Here is the layout files and a separate menu folder, values folder. Okay, all are same like in Eclipse. Okay, and from the toolbar, from the menu bar, you can select the Android virtual device. Here is the Android virtual device monitor. It is not Android virtual device manager. Yeah, Android virtual device manager. Here is the SDK manager, and here is the Android virtual device manager. Here already a device is created for you. You can create the new device by clicking this button, and here you can create devices corresponding to TV, phone, Android, VR on tablet. So I select the phone option and select one device and click next. I think now all the files are downloaded from the cloud. So you can download any needed Android virtual device from here. I'm not going to do it now, so I click cancel. Okay, now you can change the appearance of Android Studio by select the file option and go to settings. You can select the Dracula theme. It is more attractive theme for Android Studio, and select the editor option and choose the color and font option, and here you can select the scheme name. Select the Dracula scheme and click apply. Now you need to restart the IDE for this Dracula theme to take effect. So I restart the IDE now. Okay, now you can see that it is more attractive than Eclipse because it's a very nice background for the Android Studio. Guys, this is how we download and install Android Studio in a Windows platform. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next part.